whatever the season you're abiding in. It's just too many details. Hi everyone, my name is Laeeqa and Talha is joining me to discuss some mistakes that beauty brands make in creating their content for Instagram. So one of the mistakes I have seen a lot of beauty brands make when they're defining their content strategy for Instagram is that they will not consider the timing of the advertisement of their product. For example, if you have a product line specific for winter season, especially in the case of beauty brands, you need to make sure that you run out those advertisements when there is the demand, or the demand has to be generated. For example, if you start running those ads in the winter season for the winter products, there is a great possibility that your competitor has already sold the product that you're also bidding for. So that's the fact that I really think that beauty brands should consider before they align their or schedule their marketing campaigns.
I also think it's not just restricted to beauty brands. I think with all the brands, if you are in a product sector where you're selling a service or even a product or anything if it's seasonal, I think it should be in point, the timing of the launch of your product.
Yeah. Another mistake I have experienced beauty brands make is that they wouldn't prioritize being on digital platforms, because they have read, or they have surveyed a lot of people who were actually skeptical about purchasing skincare products, especially from online platforms, because for obvious reasons that they cannot test the product, they cannot tell whether it goes for their skin color or not. So there are a lot of specifications there which are all true, which are all fine, but especially after the COVID, the shift really resulted into encouraging people buying products online. Actually brings me to another point, which is that in order to ensure the element of trust in your content for your target audience, is that you create different versatile kind of content. For example, it could include user generated content.
Yes. So you guys must be thinking how you could create user generated content. It's not for you to create, it's basically for your audience to create for you. So if you have a product and you can incentivize taking a review from your audience in such a way that you can buy XYZ product and then give us a small video reel or review and then earn a small 10% off coupon or something like that for future
such
purchases.
Incentives really work well in your favor if you offer them to your users, and you just give them a little bit of guidelines how they're supposed to.
So if I were just to talk about how the guidelines could look like, it has to be very simple. You need to cut out the glamorous part of it, and you need to keep it very simple. You need to keep it to the point and as real as you can get it.
Because we're trying to establish authenticity, right? And the kind of trust that people do not have with online platforms, that is what we are battling with. And in order to combat that challenge, what we try to do is we get the user generated content created on the template, which supports the aspect of reality, or the aspect of authenticity. The third mistake that I have noticed a lot of beauty brands make is that they would start targeting everyone and anyone, which is absurd, because your product is not made for anyone and everyone. It's defined by a lot of factors. For example, that your product is not for men and women, because men and women have different kind of skin. And even among women, it's going to be some women have extremely dry skin, some women do not have extremely dry, so it's moderate or whatever. So there's going to be a lot of variety there. So why do beauty brands think that it's a great strategy to just make one content and target everyone and just push it out loud? It's not gonna work in that way. You have to be very specific. You have to make groups, and based on those segments you have to make campaigns and then run those campaigns.
You talked about being specific for content types, right? And I also think this applies to specific platforms as well. That Instagram works for a specific type of product, and so does Facebook. So you can't take a single product. I can't take a telephone and just go and sell it on both platforms and expect the same result out of both of them. So that is something that you really need to define. You need to see that is it a service or a product that you're selling, and which platform is the right one for it. Maybe one of them is good acting as a shop, and the other one can only act as an archive of the content that you're creating.
Yeah, like Reels is gonna work,
for
really
Instagram,
well for
especially.
Instagram,
Yes.
but its Reel is not gonna work so well on, let's say, Twitter. Maybe for Twitter, you're supposed to have a different kind of strategy, because you have to see what kind of content really works on Twitter. So you need to be very specific in terms of content creation.
So another mistake that usually beauty brands make every now and then is expecting results overnight, and you can't do that. You need to assess. You need to sit back. You need to put out some content, and you need to see what is working good for the algorithm, and in which part of the day is it really working out.
Yeah. What kind of factors do you think we should be considering when we are trying to analyze what's working and what's not?
The factors to be considered when creating content on social media, like for Reels, for example, like I'm big fan of Reels, and I love working on them and creating them, and I find them really interesting. So for Reels specifically, the biggest factor that I would look for is the lighting, the music, and the bridge between the visual and the music that you're hearing. So if there is a gap between the visual that you're trying to show against the music that you're using against it, it's not going to work out. So just a small example, if you're looking at a football teaser, and if it has a very slow paced or not very upbeat music in the background, it's not going to create that hype of the player running in the video with that music in the background. So you have to be very specific against the motion of the video, against what's really going on in the video, and the music and the light, everything has to be according to that. Alright guys, thank you for joining us. Thank you for watching the video, and we'll make sure to come again next week with a newer topic. And if you have any suggestions, anything you would like to know about, please leave it in the comments and we'll get back to you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.